Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kevin from beautiful St. Louis. Now, we know that narcissistic people are very close-minded individuals. All you have to do is get into an argument or a disagreement with one, and they're going to become absolutely fixated on how wrong you are. As a matter of fact, they're going to stay fixated throughout the rest of the relationship. And now this is because narcissistic people have a very narrow focus. Now, another way to understand a narrow focus is to call it a peripheral blockage. So if you consider this scene right now, the lake to the side and the grass over here to this side and the sky up here and the ground down below, this all is a peripheral image. So it's not just a center focus. You're taking in something peripherally here, which is beautiful. Now, what if with the snap of my fingers, I went like this and suddenly gave you tunnel vision? Now you have a narrow focus, and all you're able to see is just me. You're not able to see to the side. Now, this is called peripheral blockage. This is what it looks like when a narcissistic person sees you. Not visually. Visually, they can peripherally see just like everybody else, but emotionally, they have peripheral blockage. Let's get deeper into this so you can understand why narcissistic people are so close-minded. My name is Kevin, and this is... Now, before I do continue, let me remind you that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box right below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp, so you do not have to deal with narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships alone. I am here to walk through this with you. Head on down there, schedule some one-on-one time with me. Also, the World, we does have a private membership available where you get daily live support from me with the growing community of people from all over the world. We have weekly fellowship together, weekly Zoom calls together, and so much more, all in the privacy of a members-only app. So head on down to the description box, download the membership app. I would love to see you in class. Now then, we are talking about the closed-mindedness of narcissistic people. And now there are people here today with me fishing. You could probably hear their music in the background. Maybe not. But that's okay, because this message is super important. It's important that we understand the closed-minded nature of narcissistic people. Now, what I want to do for the sake of this message is I want to assign a emotional quality to the peripheral. This is going to help you to understand narcissistic people and what the blockage, what their emotional blockage, their emotional peripheral blockage looks like. So over here, to the lake over here, we're going to assign the future. We're going to pretend that this lake represents the future, the things to come, the promises that are made in a healthy relationship, the things that you want to do together. This is represented by the lake over here. Now, over here on this side, the grass over here is going to represent the past, the good times, the frolicking and the rolling around in the grass, all the fun times that you had together. That's the past. Now we're going to look at the sky above, and that's going to represent your hopes in the relationship, not only in the relationship, but your personal hopes, your personal ambitions, the things you're aspiring for. This is what's above you. And then now below me down here is the ground. This is what you've come up from. This is the pain and the fire that you've walked through in life, all the down times, maybe in the relationship or prior to the relationship since you were young. This ground represents the down times that you have come up from, because we all have down times. You do, I do, narcissistic people do. But this whole scene now represents not just a center of focus, but the future, the past, the hopes and dreams, and the bad things. Now, in a healthy relationship with an empathic person, even if you do get into an argument, guess what's going to happen? Both of you, because you're empathic and you're healthy, are not just focused center on the problem at hand. You're taking into account the disagreement at hand, the argument at hand, but you're also placing it in the bigger picture, the peripheral image, if you will, of the plans and the future that you have, the past that you have, the ambitions that each one of you have, and the things that you've struggled with and you've come up from. So in this argument with a healthy empathic person such as yourself, if you were with another empathic person, in an argument, you'd look to the past and you'd be able to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not us. This argument's stupid. Let's forget about it. We'll revisit the argument. We'll resolve it. But who we really are, is this fun couple. We love to frolic. We love rolling around in the grass. You have the past to draw upon, and you remember who you are. You remember what brought you together. You remember the good times, okay? Also, likewise, when you're dealing with an empathic person, you'll also be able to do the same thing looking to the future. Maybe you get into an argument, disagreement, but then you say, wait a minute, what are we arguing and fighting for? We have goals to achieve. We have things that we want to accomplish together. Let's set our eyes on that. That's who we are. We're moving towards that. In a healthy relationship with an empathic person, you're going to remember each other's ambitions and dreams. Even in the most worst fight or argument or disagreement you have, you're going to be able to look at each other and say, no, I know what you aspire to be. I know the ambitions that you have. I know what you're trying to achieve, and I love that about you. So what are we fighting for again? It's stupid. We don't need to. Or you're also going to consider the low times in the person's life. So even in an argument or a disagreement, you're going to be able to look at each other and say, you know, we've come up from a lot. We've both walked through fire in our personal lives and together, so we don't need to add to it with this dumb fight. And you're going to be able to agree that the fighting is not worth focusing on because you've already been there. You've walked through fire. You're looking towards the future. You're remembering the things of the past. And you're also looking at the ambitions and the high hopes of the relationship. Now then, we're going to shift focus to what it looks like from a narcissistic person. Because a narcissistic person has a very narrow center of focus. And again, another way to look at a narrow center of focus in life is peripheral blockage. But the peripheral blockage, if you will, is rooted from their emotions. They become mentally narrow-minded because they are emotionally narrow-minded. All right? This is the lack of empathy. Empathy is what allows you to take in things peripherally in a relationship. All right? Without empathy, you're left with just a narrow-minded center of focus. And so we're going to go ahead and change the focus so you can see what it looks like from a narcissistic person's point of view. And again, this is not visually. Narcissists can see peripherally, just like you and I can. But emotionally, they have peripheral blockage. So it looks like this. Boom. Now then, let me ask you the same questions again. Let's say we're in a fight, in a disagreement, and an argument. Now let me ask you, are you able, I know we're fighting right now, but come on. I'm pretending, right? I'm pretending I'm the empath and you're the narcissist right now. Come on, listen, you know the future and you know the plans that we have. What about all those things we've talked about doing together? Now let me ask you, can you see it? Can you see the future, the plans, the things that we aspire to do? Can you see the lake over there? Not at all. It's like there's blinders on, right? There's blinders on. It's blocked. You can't even see it. All you can see right now is what's center and focus, which is my face, right in yours, right? So let's say we're arguing and fighting, and I say, well, listen, come on, let's not argue and fight. What about the good times that we had? In the past, remember we were over there, we had such a good time. Can we let's go back, let's look on those things. You know me, we've had good times together, but can you see that? Can you see the green grass over there to the other side? It's blocked. The peripheral vision is blocked as though you have tunnel vision. What if I were to say, I know we're arguing and fighting, but come on, you know the dreams that I have. You know what I aspire to do and aspire to become, and I thought you were supportive of that. And that's represented by the sky above. Now, can you see that? Can you see what's above? No, you can't. All you see is my face right here, right now, right? What if I were to say, hey, listen, I'm not perfect. I know I've had difficult times. I've been through a lot of my life. You know that. Can you even see that? Can you even see down below where my feet are? No, you can't, can you? All you can see right now with this peripheral blockage is just my face and yours. And with narcissistic people, what happens in a relationship dynamic, because they have this peripheral blockage, they're not able to see the promises that were made in the relationship or the good times in the past or the hopes of the relationship or any of the pain that you've had to walk through. They can't see any of it. All they see is what's right in front of them, the center focus at any given moment. And what's worse is they take snapshots of these moments, whatever moment they feel they want to take a snapshot of. So if they took a snapshot of you arguing with them, then that's what's going to be the center focus. That's what their closed-mindedness is going to focus on. That's what their narrow-mindedness is going to become fixated on. And so they're fixated just on your face right here, right now, in this argumentative moment. And this is why they're fixated on it, and they can't see anything else. And now I'm not saying this so we feel sorry for narcissistic people. As a matter of fact, I'm ready to break the tunnel vision right now. Now that you have a glimpse of what it looks like to be a narcissistic person and have peripheral blockage, narrow-mindedness, let's break it. Boom. Back to how it should be, where you can see everything. You can see not just the center focus here, but peripherally you can see the future of the relationship. You can see the past and the good times. You can see the high hopes of the relationship. You can see down below. This is what it looks like in a healthy relationship. And so how now do you know when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, how can you tell if somebody is going to have this peripheral blockage, if somebody is this narrow-minded? Well, you're going to come across people who are narrow-minded, and you're first going to discover this in the way in which they fixate after you have an argument or after you have a disagreement. This is your number one red flag. If you enter into a disagreement with somebody and it seems they can't let go of that disagreement, meaning you walk away from the disagreement, you come back, and they're still giving you dirty looks, which narcissistic people are known for. This means that they have peripheral blockage emotionally. They are not emotionally able to see or have peripheral vision, which means they lack empathy because, again, peripheral vision in a relationship is an empathetic trait, okay? And I'm not talking about the physical vision. I'm talking about peripheral, emotional, relational vision, all right? It requires empathy to be able to consider the future, to be able to consider the past, to be able to consider the hopes, to be able to consider all the bad things. Narcissistic people, by their nature, lack empathy. We all know this. By their birth, by their genetic coding, because they're part Nephilim, or because they are embodying Jezebel, they lack empathy, which means they lack peripheral emotional vision. So they're not able to see anything but the fixated issue at hand at any given moment. So if you have a disagreement or an argument with them and they're fixated on that, meaning after the argument's over, you come around, they're still upset. They're still upset that you disagreed with them. They're still upset that you didn't give in to them. They're still upset that you had an argument. This means they're fixated, and they now entered into that narrow focus, that tunnel vision, which means they've snapshotted you, and they're no longer able to see the good possibilities of the future, or the good memories of the past, or the hopes and dreams of the relationship, or even the bad parts of your life and your experiences. They don't see it. They don't care. All they see is just what's front and center, which is something that wronged them. This is their closed-mindedness. This is their narrow focus. This is what it is to have blockage, peripheral blockage in this life, which narcissistic people have. It's up to you, and it's up to me when we navigate our relationships to be able to sniff these things out, to discern when a person is lacking or has peripheral blockage emotionally. You do not want to be with somebody who has peripheral blockage, who gets fixated on something that's wrong. So you're going to have to look out for these disagreements and these arguments and how long somebody holds on to it. This is going to tell you the extent of their peripheral blockage. My hope for you is that you'll be able to see these things right away. You'll be able to tell the difference between somebody who truly lets things go and looks forward to the future, remembers the good times. This is especially true in family, all right? And move on and let go of people who show you the first signs that they lack peripheral vision, that they have peripheral blockage emotionally, which means they become fixated. They're very closed-minded. They're very narrow-minded. You deserve more than that. As I said before, I'm here to support you. Down in the description box right below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Also, don't forget the private membership is available. Download the app. Get started right now. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on The Royal We. Bye, everyone.